Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and horror movie time. Evil Dead is one of my favorite horror movies of all time and is actually the very first horror movie that I've ever watched. And I was 5 years old when I watched the movie. Of course, I was not actually supposed to watch the movie, but I did. The movie came out in 1981, the original Evil Dead came out in 1981, and that was the same year I watched it on VHS. Um, my parents used to watch a lot of English language movies back then. Dad still watches once in a while here and there, but my mom really doesn't. But they did watch even horror movies, whatever they could get their hands on, they kind of watched. And my sister was around 11 at the time. She's 6 years older than me, so she was also not supposed to watch the movie, I guess, at that age. But the three of them were watching the movie in our living room where we were living back in Kuwait, and I was hiding behind the sofa, scared shitless, I guess. I do remember being. I remember this movie very vividly from back then. It's just one of my oldest memories that I actually remember. Um, and my parents kept telling me that you're not supposed to watch this, you're getting scared, go into the bedroom and watch and read some comics. And I would half-heartedly go and then sneak back in when they were not looking and hiding behind the sofa watching the movie. And I really got the like, scared out of my, you know what. So I did watch. I do remember watching the movie a couple of times later, before turning 11 myself, and always in the daytime. I do remember being disgusted towards the end of the movie. Uh, and I've seen the movie at least 15 times. I remember watching it twice since I moved to this apartment. Um, and I remember watching it a few times with some relatives. And I do remember one introducing it to one of my close friends from way back in school. We were close friends for around 20 years. But kind of lost touch since then, 11 to 31, around the time that I actually moved here, and then we've kind of lost touch. Don't even have his number, but he is there on Facebook, but we don't really chat with each other. But yeah, I remember him coming over to my place and asking me, "Do we have a movie to watch?" And I did have this on VHS that back then. It must have been about 15 or something, and I think he enjoyed the movie as well. So by that time, and it is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. So I have seen all the others. I do have them in my collection. I have Evil Dead, the three of them, and the fourth one including. I do like the fourth one as well. I do have them in my DVD collection. Um, but I've been waiting for them to continue on. However, this doesn't look like it's a continuation. It seems like to be something set very similar to it. It's kind of like almost another reboot, just like the fourth movie was not really a continuation. You can call this standalone if you want to, because you don't have anybody else coming in. But 2023 is the year Evil Dead Rise comes in, and it stars Lily Sullivan and Elisa Sutherland as two sisters. Morgan Davis, Gabriel Eccles, and Nell Fisher play the kids. And Nell Fisher, the youngest kid, it's her first movie, but man, I think she did a tremendous job, to be honest. I think everybody was pretty good in this movie, and I can't really complain. And yeah, so it is preceding the Evil Dead movie, Evil Dead, Evil Dead Part 2, Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness, then the Evil Dead 2013 movie as well. It took them such a long time to come up with the next movie. And this is it co-produced by Sam Raimi? Based on characters by Sam Raimi? I don't know. Anyway, it's a New Line Cinema production. Alright, runs around 97 minutes. So basically, the beginning of the movie sees these two ladies who are cousins, Teresa and Jessica, and Jessica's current boyfriend Caleb. They're at this lakeside cabin, um, you know, where usually is the setting for all the horror movies. And Jessica's not ill. She seems like, and Teresa thinks she's actually drunk, and then she sits there, reads, and hears Jessica start to recite what's in the book, which is Wuthering Heights, by the way. And then she snaps, she pops, and then she does a lot of stuff, and then she basically descalps her cousin by pulling her hair very quickly, and then she goes and decapitates Caleb as well while they're in the lake. And then as Jessica is struggling, as Teresa is struggling, and screaming, Jessica rises out of the water, and that's basically when you see Evil Dead Rises. But the main story is about these two sisters, and this is happening a day before, where you have a guitar technician, Beth. She discovers she's pregnant. She goes to the house or the apartment of her older sister, who is Ellie, who's a tattoo artist and the mother to Danny, Bridget, and they're both teenagers, as well as the youngest child, Cassie. Their father recently left them 2 months ago. Beth has not been around, but now they've come together. She wants to help them out. They live in the, I don't know, it's a kind of like a condemned apartment complex, but she's living there with this kid, with her kids, and there's some other neighbors as well. And in an earthquake, the stairs collapse conveniently, while the kids have gone to get drinks and pizza. But in the earthquake, they find a hole leading to the basement in the parking lot, because this apartment was actually built over a bank complex, and Danny wants to see what's in it, so he goes and sees the chambers underneath and finds some religious artifacts, and he finds 3 phonograph records from 1923 about a priest who's talking about the Naturam de Monto, which is one of the 3 books regarding this evil thing, and the priest talks about the research that they've done and how everybody was killed, and then he recites the incantation that summons these demonic entities. So this is the first time you see the Evil Dead in a city environment. Ellie is possessed, shit breaks out. One by one, she kills some of the neighbors. She manages to cut, and thereby the young girl, the sister, what's her name now? The daughter is Bridget, played by Gabrielle Eccles. She gets possessed next, and then she's fighting the brother what's his name? Danny. And Danny gets possessed next, but Danny is killed. It's finally up to Beth to rescue both herself and young Cassie, and the dead neighbors are also all possessed, so they manage to go to the basement parking lot. They're almost about to escape when Beth and her 2 kids get combined into this kind of multi-limbed creature known as the Marauder, and then comes to attack them. Of course, in the end, Beth gets the upper hand. The entity and the creature is put into some kind of wood chipper, something like that, and it's completely destroyed. Yeah, it's a wood chipper. It gets destroyed. Blood all spurt all around. She finally takes Cassie, and they escape. And yeah, it's pretty gory, by the way, but I totally enjoyed it. And then you actually see why. So it's like the next morning, and Jessica's actually one of the neighbors who was inside and didn't know any of these things happened. All of it, I don't know how that happened, but she wakes up she's going to, maybe she was drunk or something like that, I don't know. She realizes uh, the elevator isn't working, so she goes down to the parking basement. She sees the blood all around, and she has gotten a car and leave, but she sticks around for a little while, and the entity comes and possesses her. That's when. And then after that, you see the beginning part of the movie. And that is, so a lot of spoilers, sorry, but that basically is Evil Dead Rise. Love the film. It's got good reviews. Made on a budget of roughly $19 million. It's made 145.9 million at the box office, and I think it'll do pretty well on DVD and Blu-ray and 4K and all that stuff. I will give it an 8 out of 10. Really, really enjoyed the film. The film, sorry. Yeah, so really enjoyed the movie. Brings back a lot of memories about me watching it as a kid. A lot of my cousins loved the original movie as well. I think the second movie, my sister and I think we watched for the first time. We watched on VHS Army of Darkness sometime in the maybe like 1991 or something like that. I don't know, but I do remember watching it with my sister, and I think maybe she watched it first and then she told me to watch the movie. But yeah, Evil Dead Rise. Pretty happy to have this in the franchise, and I hope they do make more, because I love this franchise, and that's me in a nutshell. Evil Dead always brings back memories, man. The original one, and unfortunately we don't have Ash in this movie. So anyway, that's it. Have a good night, because I'm going to bed. Good night, guys.